Why do marriages fail? When we stand at the altar promising forever, it feels like nothing could ever break the bond we're about to create. Love is supposed to conquer all, right? We believe that the strength of our feelings will carry us through anything life throws at us. But as time passes, something unexpected happens. The reality of marriage sets in. And for some, it doesn't take long before the dream begins to fade. Too often, we think love is enough to keep us together, but it's not always the case. Life changes. People change. The spark that once lit up the room can dim, and the bond that seemed unbreakable starts to feel fragile. Miscommunication, unspoken resentments, or unmet expectations can build walls between two people who once couldn't imagine life without each other. In those moments, it's easy to believe the only option is to walk away. But what happens when we don't address the cracks as they form? What happens when we stop working on the relationship? The answer lies in the slow, almost invisible unraveling of what once held two people together. Marriages don't fail overnight. They fail in the small moments, the words left unsaid, the affection no longer given, the distance that grows unnoticed until one day it feels impossible to close the gap. All of a sudden, the laughter that once filled the home is replaced by silence, or worse, endless arguments over the smallest things. It happens when love becomes routine, when good morning and good night are spoken out of habit, not affection, when hugs become brief and distant, when eye contact is avoided, when intimacy feels like an obligation rather than a connection. It happens when two people who once couldn't bear to be apart now live as strangers under the same roof. Marriage starts to fail when two people stop seeing each other, not in the physical sense, but in the way that truly matters, the deep recognition of the person they once promised to cherish. It happens when we stop listening, when we assume we already know what the other person feels instead of asking. It happens when we let life's demands consume us to the point that we forget to nurture what we built. Marriage requires more than just love. It requires patience and willingness to grow together, not just beside each other. When we forget this, when we take each other for granted, the cracks start to show. But if we can remember to nurture the relationship, to communicate openly, to choose forgiveness, and to continue growing together, we can make it through the toughest of times. Just as Colossians 3:13 reminds us, we are to bear with one another and forgive any grievances we may have against each other, just as the Lord has forgiven us. We have to remember, marriage is not a destination, it's a journey. And like all journeys, it's about the work we put into it every day. And maybe, just maybe, the real question isn't why do marriages fail, but how do we stop them from failing? Thank you for watching this video. In our next video, we'll dive into how we can stop marriages from failing. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next one. Goodbye.